100% a laid back conversation. And I am so pleased to have someone very new to the UK stacking community, someone very new to me. But I've had lots of conversations with him lately, and that is Stacking with Craven. So welcome to the podcast, dude.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much for inviting me on here. It truly is a pleasure. We have had many conversations before this point. I've enjoyed all of them, getting to know you just that bit more. And yeah, once again, thank you for inviting me on. I'm happy to be here.
It's really cool, mate. I haven't done one of these for quite a while. So yeah, as you know, we've been texting each other as it's I'm really excited to do this. Um,
Yeah.
and here we are on a Saturday night after a long night chatting. Well, I fell asleep during the conversation, but last night it's really cool. Anyway, welcome, mate. Thank you for giving up your Saturday time. We're going to have a little dig. I want to know who Craven is. You've obviously burst onto the scene within the coin collecting stacking community in the UK here. So it's always really cool just to get to know. We never get a chance really to get to know the personality a little bit because we're all so busy doing whatever we're doing. So can we find out a little bit about who is Stacking with Craven? And what I normally do is just give us a little, obviously go where you want to go. Maybe we can learn a little bit about you as a
Absolutely.
the little Stacking with Craven. What was you like? What was life like for the little Stacking with Craven?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that I would be happy to share with you. Is there anything specific, Andy, that you'd like me to talk about, or is it just generally?
Yeah, just generally, where'd you grow up, mate? What did you get up to when you was little? You know, what was your school life like? Did you like school? Did you not like school? What was you into when you
Sure.
was like a lot younger? That sort of stuff, you know?
Yeah. So always, I was born in Chester. I've always lived in the Northwest, in and around that area. I've grown up there, and still to this day, I am not too far away from Chester, a very historic and famous part of England with so much history, which I'm still learning more about today. And yeah, if you haven't been, I'm sure you have, but I recommend anyone check out Chester because it's just so much to do and so much to learn. So that's really because it's always been the same place, mate. That's where I've grew up. That's where I still am now. And in terms of growing up, well, in terms of interest, I obviously did school and everything. I would say to know more about me behind the coins, I was always relatively well behaved in school. I studied to an extent. I never did anything particularly bad. I did well with the grades all the way through, and I could have gone to university when I finished college. I got the offer to go to Liverpool, and that would have been for either English or ICT. But to give you an insight on my perspective at that point, when you're sort of 18 years old, I chose not to go because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, which I'm sure most youngsters don't know what they want to commit to at that age, to go and do a 4, maybe 5 year course, set yourself up for a career in a specific direction. Such a big decision, and you're potentially getting in debt to do it. So I thought, you know what? The only thing that is pulling me towards uni, honestly, at that age, mate, was just partying. Having a good time. That's what I thought, and I thought, you know what? Is that really a good enough reason to go when I can go and get my first job and get some money in my back pocket? So that's what I did. I have done so many different jobs. I started off in a bar. I've worked in retail. I've worked in sales, insurance. I've done manual jobs. I worked at a plant nursery. I've been a bin man. You name a job, I've probably done it. I get bored easily and I like to challenge myself. So that has led me to do many different things. Outside of work, I love sports. I really, really do. I could speak about so many sports, but I won't bore you. I'll give you a top three, which would be football, it would be boxing, and believe it or not, it would be snooker. So
Okay.
Yeah, one of my biggest hobbies, I'll give you, I'll give you a little exclusive, is pool. I haven't played in a little while, but I used to play probably 4, 5 times a week, like hours and hours and hours, and that was right up until I started stacking. And I was very obsessive. I wanted to perfect it, and I got to a level where I was representing Cheshire, and potentially
Wow.
could have gone on to from that to represent England. You know, if you got
Wow.
through qualifiers and stuff. So it was something I was particularly good at. But I got into stacking, and here we are. I have fell in love with not only learning about the investment side and the long term goals. I've met so many incredible people, such as yourself, mate. I really have, which is a joy to be able to engage with, learn about, share stories, support each other every day as we grow and do different things. And yeah, this is what I'm focused on. And yeah, that I mean, yeah, that would be a very brief overview. I hope I didn't just waffle there, but that's a brief overview.
No, that's really cool, mate. I'm going to wind it right back now because you give me lots of things to feed off of,
Go for it.
which is really cool. So Cheshire, what beautiful place. As you said, I have been there. Me and my wife went there a couple of years ago, and we stayed at a place. Can't remember what it's called, just outside Cheshire. Loved the area. It was gorgeous. Went to the what's the retail park there? Is it Cheshire Oaks?
Cheshire Oaks, yeah, that sells me a port.
Yeah, yeah. Went all around there. Had a really nice time actually. Beautiful part of the world. Beautiful part of the world, and the town is lovely. Absolutely lovely. So yeah, very fortunate. I've got a question. When you grew up, when you was young and in the area, have you mainly been around urban? Is it an urban environment you grew up in, or was it more of a rural?
Definitely more rural. So
Okay, cool.
obviously, when I say Chester, you think it's
Yeah,
it's a city. It is classed as a city, believe it or not. It may be a small one, but it is classed as a city, Chester. But
yeah,
I wasn't living actually in, the centre or anything like that. I was on the outskirts and it was more rural. I've always lived in areas that, are a bit further afield with a bit of greenery around, fields, fresh air, nice walks. And one of my favorite things personally is to be able to open the window or the curtains in the morning or open the blinds and be able to see blue sky, open space, fields, and hear the birds. And that is something I really enjoy, nature itself.
yes. We're really lucky if we've got that on our doorstep. Really, really lucky.
100%.
It is a beautiful, beautiful thing to grow up in, I'm sure. Mine was slightly different, but I've ended up in the countryside, which is really lovely. So yeah, a lovely area. So little Craven, when he was growing up in the countryside, obviously, obviously you went through the school process. I'm not sure. I only remember school as like junior school, senior school. But I think did you have a high school
Yeah,
and all that
so
sort of thing?
primary school, high school, college for 2 years, and then you either go on to do your university degree at that point when you're 18, or you would, well, do what I did, which is start employment full time and see where it goes.
Yeah. What in your high school? What sort of, you said like you fairly like education process. Did you like the educational process?
No,
Did
not at all. I
not at
mean,
all, no, okay.
I can't remember once they absolutely drill stuff like Pythagoras theorem into your brains. I don't remember using that once since I've left. I, yeah, I don't think the process necessarily gives you all of the general life skills that you need to know. For example, what am I learning about now that I'm really invested in that I could talk to you about all day? Finances, hard assets, precious metals, managing money, long term investments, doing the right thing, wealth preservation, all of the above, right? They don't do a class about that. Even just someone once a month to come in and tell people, look, start thinking about saving. Because if you can drill that into a young person from a young age, it's so important. And a lot of the lessons, to be honest, you'd have a laugh, you'd take in most of it, but I was never really sort of like this is, I was never like, oh, I really want to learn everything. There was just other things to be excited about.
Wicked. Um, was there any subjects you really enjoyed at school?
Uh, I liked PE because I used to like playing the sports and football, especially. Um, yeah, I particularly enjoyed English, and it was something I just naturally was fairly good at. And yeah, I did enjoy English.
That explains why you talk so well.
Thank you.
You talk very well, very eloquent the way you come across when you're talking.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'd say the same back to you, Andy. I really would.
Really?
100%. I think one of the quotes that I have said to you very recently is because you're very wise. I like listening to you when it comes to your thoughts, talking about experience, advice for someone like me with less experience. And when you put your words together, it's like poetry, mate. And I genuinely mean that. You come across very well, and I love listening to you talk. I told you you could talk or narrate something for hours. I would sit there fully invested and listen.
Probably people sitting going to listen to this and go, really?
I doubt it, mate. I doubt it.
My wife would disagree probably, but hey ho. Okay, cool. So you wasn't a crazy during your high school years. You wasn't a crazy mad on the educational process, but you just sort of, sounds like a typical normal boy, really. Um,
Yeah, I will
more into
say.
your sport.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say on that. I hope Miss Stacking with Craven doesn't watch this back or hear me from downstairs. When I was in college, I wasn't studying books, Andy. I was too busy. I was a busy bloke.
We come to college in a minute. So just to give me a bit of a picture and the audience a bit of a picture, during those like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 year old, if you're living in a rural environment, from a social point of view, is that difficult? Was there always that I want to go into a more, as you went sort of maybe for your 14, 15 year olds, was this like, oh, I want to get into the towns and be a little bit more around people and more
Yes.
youngsters, or was there, did you have sort of a social experience in the rural setup that you was living in?
So I was around that sort of early teen age during an era where Call of Duty was going quite big. I did live in a rural area, so you're absolutely right. I wasn't as close with a group of people to just walk down the road, go to a park. I was a couple of miles away from any of that, to be honest. And at that age, unless I went on the bike, I wouldn't do that very often. At that time, you talk sort of 12, 13, 14, 15, even after that, I would be on the Xbox. I'd be on Call of Duty. Some of the best times I had was online at that age. There was Call of Duty 5 World at War when they brought out zombies. So many good memories on that.
Dude, that zombies, even I was obsessed with that.
Yeah, the original COD 5, I think it was World at War.
World at War, yeah.
And yeah, I'd be on the parties on Xbox till what 4, 5 in the morning, getting told off for making too much noise by my parents. So I was happy with that. That was my social sort of engagement,
Yeah,
and I loved it. We'd all look forward to the weekends, especially because you could
yeah.
stay up later. But I didn't feel like I missed out. But I definitely had a different friendship group because I wasn't out and about as much. But yeah, that's just how it was.
Cool. God, you just brought back loads of memories, really. All my boys were into it, and it was something actually. It was quite cool actually because it was something we all had in common. We could talk about around the dinner table, much to my wife's disgust. Um, but yeah, those days, and yeah, I think World at War was one of my favorite Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty
What
games, really.
blasting the zombies with an MP40.
Ah,
You'd start. I think it was Nakda on Toten or something was the first map, and
it
you'd
was,
run to the
yeah.
wall. You'd spend 200 points, buy a car 98k, get headshots, get some points. Oh, it's so good to do back then.
Yeah. Yeah, when Derice come out, that was my favourite. I used to play. We'll come back to Europe, but I'll just say to you, I used to play almost every night with a guy called Bumwipe, and he,
Nice.
yeah, but he was there was we was all in our I would say 40s, late 40s. That's sad, isn't it? Really, but
No.
there'd be me, Bumwipe. He lived in over Norfolk Way, and a guy called ABC, and he was up in Manchester. And we used to just every night be try to get as far as we could get, far as we could get, far as it take us 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes. Obviously working out because they bought. Do you remember Derice or
Yeah, that I think that was the
Derice?
fourth one,
It
and
was,
that was the
yeah.
one where you had like the Wonder Waffle and
That's
stuff.
it, yeah, yeah. And you could upgrade your weapons, couldn't you? And then there was a hack where you could have more than 2 weapons or 3 weapons if you did it a
Yes.
certain way. And yeah, I was mad. Love it. Absolutely loved it.
Of course, I remember it, Andy. Yeah, I think you had to turn the electrics on before you could upgrade, and the box would move, and then there'd be these random rounds where you'd be like, "Oh no, the dogs!" You'd hear these like dogs coming, and they
That's
were
it,
they were
yeah.
deadly. They were
They were, yeah. But yeah, standing up on
that balcony.
that balcony up the back of the map,
Yeah, camping at the back.
camping at the back with all your what were they called? Oh, what were those little exploding bomb
Monkey
things?
bombs.
Yeah, my eyes just
That was
crazy.
the best. You'd throw it, you'd let them all build up, and then you'd fire your Wonder
Fire,
Waffle, and it would
yeah,
get more.
yeah, that's just mad. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Good times, honestly. No, and there's absolutely nothing to say 40-year-olds on that. I would actually probably say the average age of people that enjoyed that were probably anywhere between 15 to honestly 50, probably.
Absolutely. I mean, I was playing with Cobra. We had a couple of games a little while ago.
Yeah.
Um, and it was shocking, really, to be fair. But my son joined in and just showed us all up. But yeah, it was really cool. And then obviously the new games come out. What was the one in the theatre?
Or I don't know, because I stopped playing it not long after that. I think the one after it was maybe World or Modern Warfare 2 or something like that. And
Yeah,
that was good. And then it slowly, for me, I just drifted away from it really.
yeah,
But
yeah. Good job.
it was sort of a glory years, sort of 5 years. It was just really sort of the one.
Amazing franchise. Absolutely amazing franchise. My son said they've messed it up a little bit. But anyway, let's get back to you. Sorry, that just brought back
No,
some brilliant memories.
that is me because that was part of me growing up for years, mate.
So
And
good.
it's nice to know how much you enjoyed it too. Really,
Oh
really fun
man.
times.
Yeah, terrible. Absolutely terrible. So cool. So you went through, you had a Xbox social life in a rural area, went through school, liked to sport. Did you do any sport outside of school PE during those times, or was it just
Yeah, so I played football for the local Sunday team from the age of sort of 9 to 15, about 5 or 6 years. Practice midweek on the AstroTurfs, and then on the Sunday we'd go out and play. Sometimes we were really good, sometimes we were terrible, but that's what Sunday League is. It's a load of fun. There'd always be someone that would throw in that horrible Sunday League tackle that you would get a red card for and a match ban in the Premier League. But yeah, it was good times. I had so much fun playing football, but I stopped that around probably 15, 16.
wicked? Any and there's a good reason why I asked this. Was there any reason for you to want to, or was there any opportunity to do like little Saturday jobs and earn a little bit of money then, or
Yeah.
okay,
So 3 years on the trot, I'd say my first job because it was like a weekend job. There was an annual event called the Steam Rally, which all these old motors of all different types, really vintage stuff, would meet for an event over a weekend on this farmer's land, and it was called the
okay,
Steam Rally. And you'd see famous people attend because some of these stuff were being auctioned. You know, there was bands on, big marquee, loads of food stalls, loads of just so much going on, and great fun. And myself and my best friend at the time, we would be volunteers for the weekend. And when I say volunteers, it was kind of like just a cash in hand job. We did get paid for it. I think at the time, you're going back, what would that be now, 15 years? I think we got something like 60 quid for the day. We did probably about 9, 10 hours maybe, but we got free food and drink all day, and a couple of beers at the end as well. We were a bit young, but nobody needed to know that. But yeah, it was great fun, and an interesting story for anyone that is a football fan, such as yourself, maybe Andy. Um, I actually mainly worked on the car park as like a marshal. So, hundreds of cars coming in, keep them all, because it's a field, you need to keep them lined up. You can't trust everyone to just do that themselves. You have to sort of go in lines, wave them in, and keep things organized. So I was doing that most of the time. And there was this beautiful Range Rover Sport, lovely blue color, all carbon fiber bits, stunning motor with a private plate. And then this fairly short bloke gets out with sunglasses on, instantly recognized him. It was Michael Owen, and I said hello to him. So I waved him into a spot, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, it must have been for a young guy to,
Yeah,
yeah, did big name, a really big name.
but he is. He's into that kind of stuff, and he's really into his horses as well. So he has a lot going on in and around the Cheshire area. He's into all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know a lot about football and Cheshire other than my wife used to watch. Is it Housewives of Cheshire?
Oh, I don't know.
Something
Sorry.
like that. I don't know, whatever that was, but
I'm sure there is one.
yeah, there is. I think it's all mainly rich housewives of Cheshire.
Yeah, it's not your
Anyway, so
secret
no,
guilty pleasure, is it, Andy?
it could be actually, to be fair. There's all sorts there, dude. Um, so that's really cool. So we've got a bit of an outlay of what Craven's life was like up to leaving school. Now you said you went to college.
Yeah.
Did you specifically go to college for learn something specifically, or?
No, so I mean, you had to reduce the subjects you were doing from high school and pick, say, 4 or 5 to focus on. So you'd drop maybe the other 5 that you were doing. You'd focus on some that you might take on further to uni. And I did maths, English, ICT, geography. I think that was actually it. That I did. Obviously, I kept through with the English. I enjoyed maths, and ICT as well. Geography was just something I thought it was very interesting. I didn't particularly try, if I'm being honest. I just enjoyed the classes. I thought most of it is you're learning about random things, random facts around the world and different places. It was just a fun class to be a part of. And I found that interesting. I didn't score like the best in it. I just enjoyed being there, to be honest. But you basically narrow down the subjects you're studying, and over the course of those 2 years, you build up the first year and the second year to get a combined sort of grade, which then can get you into unis.
Oh, right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and the combined grade I got me accepted for the English or the ICT. And yeah, I always say, Andy, those 2 years, in terms of, well, for a number of reasons, they probably were the best 2 years of my life in terms of having fun. I think they're sort of the last 2 years before you have any real commitments. And, I said, I wasn't always studying the books. I was having fun. I was between the ages of 16 and 18. I was trying new things, parties, new people, and it was so much fun. But it was the last couple of years before life commitments come, and yeah, it went so fast. It really did.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. That 16 to 18 is, yeah, probably for many young men and young ladies, really, but I can only talk from a man's point of view. It's incredible. Yeah, it's a really exciting, cram-packed, crazy
Oh
time.
yeah.
Absolute crazy time. All sorts of things are going on inside your body and in your head, and you just think you've left school and you think you're a bit more important than when you was at school. And yeah, it's crazy. It's magical. I thought that those, well, for me personally, it was probably 15, 16, 17, 18. Those 4 years
Yeah.
were mad.
Yeah, it's there's chaos. There's a lot of, you make mistakes, you learn, you go through emotions, you do silly stuff, you experiment, you do all the things that probably a lot of people of a similar age do at that age. But I wouldn't change any of it because, once again, the time absolutely flew by, and I look back at it as the best years of my life.
Brilliant. Oh, that's really cool. So, had you during those times, was you still doing like the steam rally sort of stuff, or had you sort of
No,
managed to
I
get
did.
any?
Yeah, so if I didn't say sorry, that was over the course of a 3 day weekend. So it was only 3 days, but it was
Yeah,
like you say, it was a Saturday job if you want to call that. And I think I did it 4 years in a row, so four annual events in a row. You know, and each year I think we got an extra tenner for coming back and doing it again. So by the end of it, I think the last one I did, I got about 90 or £100 or something like that, which was nice
yeah.
at the
That's
time. Of course, it's not nowadays, as we know. If you're doing 10 hours and somebody says here's 60 quid, you'd be like, "Pardon? Are you serious?" But that's just the way the world is. When you're 15 years old, say, and somebody gives you 80 quid, you're buzzing.
can buy you all sorts of weird and wonderful things. 80 quid.
Oh yeah, I think at the time, to be honest, it was either something on Call of Duty, or it'd be a pair of trainers, or it'd be. I went through a stage, mate, where I just loved spending money on FIFA.
Yeah.
Back when you would just any money, it was there to be spent. You didn't have loads of bills. You didn't have all these costs each month. I would just spend it on FIFA, and there were these things called packs. You basically put money into the game to get these points, and then you could use those points to buy stuff in game, and then you could get something that was like a really rare player. It was so much fun.
Yeah. So you've done your college days. You come out of college
Yeah.
that summer. What's Craven doing next?
Well, I didn't get to do the summer because my parents were very insistent. Look, you may be used to having these 6, 7 week summer holidays, but after this, you haven't got a term to go back and do. You're an adult now. You need to start working. So I think I had maybe a week, and then I
Okay.
was in my first job because that was what my dad and my mum were saying. Look, if you're not willing to get out and work, earn some money, then why should we keep you like we have up until this age? We're not going to pay for you forever. And that was just what it was. And I look back now and fully understand it. If I'm being honest, at the time I thought that's a bit tight. I've got friends that are gonna have loads of time off and go and do this, go and travel. I couldn't do all those things. I didn't have the money for one. But I look back now and think, yeah, they did the right thing and encouraging me to do that. And I basically back then it wasn't sort of as digitally savvy. The way I got a job was I printed out my first CV, which all I had on at the time was my Saturday work at the Steam Rally. I had to give sort of an account of being a captain of a football team, responsibility, anything you could use to come across as, look, I've got experience of running a team, and anything I could put together. And I handed that CV in to a couple of places locally, and I got a job in a pub. And it was run by a Yorkshireman. And look, Yorkshire's a beautiful place, but by God, was he a tight ass? He really was. He was pennies and pounds, you know. So I had to work really hard, and I was running straight away. I was thrown into like 8, 9 hour shifts, which, as we all know, that's standard. But when you first start, you're like, wow, okay. And I think at the time I was probably on, what was the wage back then? It was something scary. It was like 6 quid, 6 quid an hour. Honestly, just peanuts. And there were times where I'd be doing 12 hours, 12-hour shifts just to get enough money. But once again, you look back now, and I'm actually really thankful that I did all that graft, all that learning, that appreciation. Um, and yeah, that's where I started anyway after college, mate. To answer your question, straight into work after a week.
He's 18, 19 era, um, got your first job by being creative, which is really cool. Working in a pub, when did you start to sort of, when you mentioned like that £6 wasn't enough and you're doing like 10 hours, 9 hours, was there any point, if you can remember, where you're now starting to go, oh, really? Is this how the world works? Is this what it's all
Yes.
about? Yeah, what were
Yeah.
those sort of thoughts?
It hits you very hard. It's reality. It's This is real life. You're not a kid anymore. You're not going to get 6 weeks playing the Xbox. You're not going to get to go and play football with friends whenever you want, sit and watch TV, eat terrible food and not care. You got to get up early in the morning. You're going to be out late. You're going to be grafting because because you've got to support yourself now. You're not going to be funded or your parents. I was very lucky. My parents would always have my back if I was in a problem. But from that age, they made it clear that you need to support yourself. We're here for you. We love you. There's a roof over your head, but you need to start paying keep. You need to pay your own way. If you want clothes, you need to buy clothes. Trainers a lot, and you realize just how expensive it is and how hard you have to work to get that. And there was that moment of realization, mate, where you're earning this £6 an hour. You've done 10 hours, you've got 60 quid, then it gets taxed, and you end up waiting at the end of the month thinking, wow, I've done all these hours and this is what I've got. And all it does, though, is it makes you hungry to earn more, better yourself so you can use your skill set to spend less time working and get more money for it because you're efficient at what you do and you're worth every penny. So after a while, I took that experience. I looked at other jobs. I was confident to go for the interview, and looked for something where I'd earn more money with better shifts and stuff like that. And like I say, I did go on. I've done so many different jobs before I ended up in sales, which is mostly what I've done. But I appreciate all of it because I think it's valuable learning. And once again, I repeat, I think it was very important that my parents pushed me when they did and instantly said, well done, you've finished, you got invited into uni, we support you that you don't want to go. You said you want to work, well, you need to go and work. Don't be sitting on the couch having your 6 weeks and then thinking about it because it'll be 12 weeks before you start earning. If you do that, while it's all fresh, you're in that mindset, go in there, earn some money, put some keep in, and we'll keep supporting you.
I That brings back memories of my youngest boy. Almost very similar. He obviously went to um, like primary school, then middle school, then high school, then went to college, just like you.
Yeah,
And then I said to him, "What are you going to do?" He's fairly bright, and I said, "Do you want to go to uni or not?" And he said, "No." And exactly the same as your parents, I said, "You've got a week to get a job."
really.
Yeah, and he got a job in McDonald's, and he's never looked back.
No, do you know what? I think
Never
there's
looked back.
that's really interesting to me. I think sometimes there's like a stigma about because sometimes people make a joke saying, "Oh, go get a job at McDonald's," but I actually think there's so many successful people that if you actually dig deep enough, you'll find that they actually started at McDonald's. That's where they started. And I have a lot of respect for people that work at McDonald's. I really do.
But the thing is, from the outside looking in, and what he doesn't work there anymore. He did it for 2 years. He stuck at it for 2 years, which I just was amazed that he did that. Absolutely amazed at it because they don't exactly. It's not the greatest environment to work in,
No.
um, and it's very haphazard, very fast paced, very lots of people come and go in all the time. Um, yeah, it's just like a conveyor belt, as you know. But funny enough, when we're talking, we both turn and say exactly what you just said. What a great way to cut your teeth and enter the working environment because you find out so much about other people and yourself with other people and how much tenacity you've got to keep going when through tough times. And it's a real good personality builder, and it
Yeah,
gives
it's
you
character building.
it's massive.
The key skill from what you've mentioned there in that environment is resilience. And if you've got resilience, no matter how hard things get, if you can get out of bed and go to work and just turn up every day, especially for 2 years in a job that he's probably not enjoying, you'll do well in life because you've got that built in from the start. If that's your first experience, if you can crack that and take that into future opportunities, you'll do very well. You
Yeah,
really will.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. It's given them a good key process. So a lot of what you're saying is resonating in a way with, my youngest boy as well. It's really interesting.
Yeah, Andy, I would just like to take this moment because you said earlier I have just been bought a nice cold beer from my better half, and she would just like to say hello to you,
Nice.
my friend.
Hello,
Hello,
Mrs. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm absolutely fine, thank you. Really enjoying this conversation. And it's really, who else has spoken personally to Mrs. Stacking McCraven, who
No one.
No,
we always hear a lot about now, and that's a real honor and privilege, I tell you. I love this. I really do. It's such an honor. So yeah, it's
Oh,
really cool.
there we go.
it's nice to meet you anyway. I'll leave you to it.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, no worries. If I get bored, I'll call you, and we'll
Yeah,
we'll make it a bit more
You
interesting.
probably will. You stay on standby for the next 15, yeah?
I'll wait to hear him ring the bell.
Oh, thanks. See you
Oh, bless
later.
her.
Bless you. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
a very
just
lucky man. I really am. But there you go, Andy. There's an exclusive, mate.
yeah, yeah, definitely. How cool is that? Thank you. Right, before we move on to the sales side of things that obviously you progressed into, you did mention you was a bin man.
Yeah, I was. Now, let me
So
tell you, we just spoke about resilience.
how did
That
that come about?
so it sort of skips a bit of the working time. So I told you maybe in a conversation privately that I worked in sales for about 8 years, 9 years. And there become a point within sales towards the end where I had had enough. I was doing very well. I was earning loads of money. I was a manager of a commercial department within an insurance sales team. And it was good. But burnout, I was taking work home with me. It was affecting me. And it comes to that point where you weigh up, is this stress worth the extra money? And I decided at that point, which is only, well, that's only about the last year. It's not that long ago, mate. I decided, no, it's not. I would rather earn 10 grand less a year and be happy, and it's a big drop, I know. And some people would say, yeah, but 10 grand. But it sounds corny, but money truly does not buy you happiness. And if you think it does, good for you. But for me personally, it definitely doesn't. So what I decided to do, Andy, was to look for something where I could apply all my skills in a role that would challenge me, something where I could learn, really get my teeth into, where I felt I was investing into a company, where it was investing into me. And I didn't find that straight away. And I thought, okay, well, I need to keep paying the bills. So what did I do? I took a job that I didn't want to do because it would pay the bills. And that job, a bin man put it this way: as long as you don't have anything that they would, when they run their checks, that would say instantly no, there's no interview process. You will get the job. It's like something like a quid over minimum wage. And that's what I did because I needed to keep things moving. That's the only reason I did it. But I learned so much, the hot summer conditions, the freezing winter conditions, the smells, the sights, some of the stuff people put in their bins. I mean, good God, I won't say all the words here. I certainly won't say some of the stuff I saw, but let me tell you, I saw a lot. But that is something I did for a matter of months because I was biding time, paying my bills, doing what I had to do to keep things moving before that opportunity come. And I'm in that role now. I found it, and I'm on less money than I was in sales. I'm on more money than I was when I was a bin man, but I'm happier.
That's one of the most important things, and to find that out at a young age is pretty damn cool, to be fair. I'm going to wind that back into your sales trip a little bit. So you was into sales, working for that. Was you working for the same job for that amount of time?
No,
Okay.
no. So something I learned early is that some sales jobs really do have a shelf life because, unfortunately, and this probably sounds very big headed, but in sales, the better you are, the more you get penalized. And to give you a specific example, I tended to be the best or one of the best. It wouldn't take me long to beat what's the most sales in a week, or what's the biggest commission anyone's ever earned. That was my motivation to be the best, because I just that was what incentivized me. It wasn't the paycheck at the end of the month, although that was great. It was a confidence thing. I wanted to beat what somebody else had done, to reassure me that, yeah, I am really good at this. And you get targets in sales, right? So you need to do, let's keep it simple, really generic. You need to do 10 sales this week. Well, I want to do 15, for example. Say if you do 15 regularly, your target individually, usually, it's just how it works, will go, right, well, you're pretty good at this. We're going to set your target to 15 now. So then you need to work 50% harder to hit the minimum target before you can earn your bonus. And that sort of situation really does happen, from my experience, in multiple companies. And you think, well, there's someone here that I know doesn't work as hard as me, but he doesn't have to get the same money. He can do 10 or an extra, he can do 13 and get the same bonus as me doing 18 because he's done 3 more. And yeah, it's hard. It really is. But I was in sales for a long time, and I'm grateful for it. But I hope that point I made makes sense. I sort of went off on a tangent, Andy, but it was something that after a while, I'd had enough of. It really frustrated me, because once again, I'm proud of my work. I want to be the best, and it is also nice when a company acknowledges that and says, "You know what? You're smashing this. Thank you so much. We're not going to penalise you with bigger targets. We're gonna keep paying you more because you're making us money, and we want you here long term." So yeah, I'd had enough in the end with sales. I won't tell you all the stories. There's too many in the jobs I had, but essentially you get burnt out. And I don't, anyone that can do sales, or frontline sales, should we say, forever, I have mad respect for. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've never been in that environment. I've never wanted to be in that environment of selling. I've experienced it a few times, never enjoyed it. Um, I have it's really strange through life. There's always that saying about the slimy salesman.
Yeah.
You hear that, and I think we don't. It isn't until you hear stories like this from personally people involved, you then begin to realize that they're under a lot of pressure, and that must be bloody difficult, to be consistently to the what I'm trying to say is to the book, and not twist things a little bit just to get the sale. That must be really hard to do, and that's got to weigh on your conscience sometimes if that sort of circumstance starts to happen just to get targets.
Yes.
It's a real pressure. It's something that's out there, obviously, and people do it, but I'm not sure it's ever something I could do.
It's
What? Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, it's very doable. That the challenge comes in over a long term basis,
Yeah.
because, all right, you can smash it for 2 weeks, right? But in sales, it's all about the numbers. At the end of the day, you could have had an amazing day yesterday, but kind of like YouTube, I firmly believe, you're only as good as your last video in most senses, right? That's where you're at. It's the most recent thing. So for example, I got 10 sales yesterday, really happy. Oh, I got 2 sales today. You start to doubt yourself. People saying, "Oh, okay, you didn't try as hard." The problem is, no 2 days are the same. You're not going to get the same bunch of like perfect customers. No matter how good you are, there's no straight line with sales. You can't achieve the same things every single day. It's a very fluctuating. If you imagine it as a graph, your performance will fluctuate. And sadly, whereas I think companies should view salespeople and their performance on a monthly basis and just work out an average, don't sort of micromanage them and get on their backs as soon as they have a bad day, because they're stressed they're not going to hit a certain target or get their bonus as a manager. There's a lot of that goes on, and it can really put a lot of pressure and self-doubt on salespeople if they do have a bad day. And that's just how it is. You probably think maybe this sounds a bit extreme, but I've done this for a long time, or I did do it for a long time before I changed paths. And stuff like that is why I say if you can bounce back from the bad weeks, the tough times where you're not doing as well, and continue to work in such a fast paced and pressurized environment over years, decades, whatever, and still keep going, I have so much admiration for those people because it's so hard.
Absolutely, well said. And I should think, albeit maybe you worked in a possible team of sales of a sales department, is it still very individualistic in its outcome? And does that make it quite a strain and too competitive on the team when you're all trying to
Yes,
achieve the same thing? Is that difficult
it is
to do?
because although as a department you will have a team target in most cases. For example, when I worked in insurance, just make it as simple as possible to explain, a lot of what I did was commercial, so it could be the trucks, like fleet insurance for companies with like 10 arctic trucks, anything like that, haulage contractors. You could be on that department. And then as a team in that department with your 5 sales agents, you're expected to do whatever, £100,000 in commission and maybe 100 policies per month, just rough figures. That's a team target. So if you hit that, great, but break it down to the individuals. Say if 3 people have done 30 to get you to 90, and the other 2 have done, this is really ridiculous figures, I know, but a couple of people have done 5, 2, they're going to be looked at. Well, why are you doing that? And obviously, if you'd only done 2 in sales, you're probably in the wrong job, respectfully. But yeah, it's an individual thing. You're part of a team. There are team goals, but everyone is measured individually. And if you're, even if you're doing okay for targets, if there's other people just completely outperforming you, you are still say, well, hang on a second. If they're doing this well, why aren't you? Those sorts of things happened. It is really, really tough. And I have been, and I can say this because I've been in all sorts of sales. I call it a bloodbath. When I started, there was a lot more cold calling going on in the UK than there is now. Still a lot of it going on, but and let me tell you, I think that is the hardest form of selling. You are being paid by a company who's got a rubbish data list to call those numbers not once, not twice, 3 times, triple dial them, and convince them of who you are and try and get a sale or whatever it is. That's hard work.
100% do, because I just every now and then I'll answer the phone because with technology you can tell whether it's like a spam call or bits and pieces like
Yeah, yeah.
that. And yeah, I answer the phone. Sometimes I'll answer it and just have a little muck about sometimes with someone because I know what they're after.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad. I try to be polite a lot of the time, but it is a pain. So hats off to anyone. I can't see anyone being in that environment for that long, putting up with all sorts of things,
No,
really.
definitely not, mate. Staff turnover is crazy. That they'll have a job advert that just never gets put down because they know they'll need to keep filling in new people that will last 2 weeks. And I'm the same as you. If I get a spam call, I'm not rude to them. I don't tell them to, F off or anything like that. I just say, look, respectfully, I'm not interested in what you're selling. I get this is your job, but please can you remove my details and just have a good day, man. That's you don't need to be rude to the person. They've got a job. They've probably got a family to provide for. But yeah, it does go on, and because I've done it, I have an understanding and respect for those people. But I still tell them politely, look, no thanks.
Fair play. So I take it from that bit of a conversation at that time of your life, you're quite pleased to be out of that.
Yeah, you could say that, mate. Yeah.
Wicked. And then you went out and was looking at people's bins and rubbish for a while. It's really different. It's an eye opener, obviously. And
Yeah.
then you've obviously, I presume you're still in the same. Oh, crikey, croaky voice. Excuse me. You're still in the same job today now.
Yes, it's one that I can't talk about.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, not every day is easy. But
yeah.
what the word I'd say is it's I don't want to say tolerable because that's
Yeah.
not right either.
Yeah.
It's manageable. It's not. overwhelming. It's there's so much to learn. There are hard things, but I can see myself doing it as a career. I think it would
Okay.
take a long time to get fully confident and competent because there's so much to it. But yeah, in comparison to something like sales, I couldn't do that forever. With this, I really think there's a career out of this for me. I really do.
Oh, wicked, because I was going to ask you that. Do you think that you'd be in whatever you're in? I appreciate, you can't say. Do you think you was going to be in that and try and make a career out of it? And you've answered that. So you're obviously very happy that you found that.
Yes, yeah, it's longevity is important, and also in today's modern world, with the way the economy is, which you'll know better than me, Andy, because we spoke about it, and I love listening to you talk about finances, economics, all that kind of thing. But the state it's in, one of the most important things I think when you get to, well, and it might not be for everyone because everyone's situation is different. I'm just talking about me, but I'm approaching 30. I want stability. I want long term because at this point in my life, there's a lot of big financial commitments I'm starting to get involved in that will be with me for years and years and years. So I need that. Okay, what I'm doing, this job's not going to disappear. I'm not working for just a startup company or anything like that. There's less risk. It's more about me and what I do with the opportunity than whether the company's going to go anywhere.
Very nice indeed. Very nice. As it sounds like you're in a good place. Well, you're in an exciting place, and hopefully that will continue, pending on what's going to happen with our wonderful economic climate. But it
Yeah.
sounds like you're pretty positive and you found what you need to find. What you're
Cheers
drinking?
to that, mate.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
So I didn't have any whiskey. I wanted to have a whiskey. It's coming on your show. I love your whiskey Wednesdays. I love that noise when you pop the top off. I love you pouring it over the ice. It's actually a bourbon, I believe it's called a bourbon. So it's I think this one's the Jim Bean
Oh yeah.
honey. Is it the honey one? I had that, or I also had a Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire, I think it was. So I went with the honey, bit smoother, put a load of ice in, let it cool for 5 minutes, and I've just been sipping it as we've been speaking, and I've also got a refreshing beer as well. So yeah,
Oh, very nice too. Already spoiled.
you're on the
Already
tea
spoiled.
tonight, aren't you? You're on a good
I
old.
am doing, as I said to you, you guys kept me up bloody late last night,
Oh,
and
don't blame me. I'm not taking all the blame.
well, yeah, definitely, because it was an amazing conversation. It's a shame I fell asleep, but then I woke up again and started engaging, and I
You
looked at the time and I
did.
thought, what the hell? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What am I doing?
I can honestly say, mate, I've not had as many. There isn't really many words that do it credit, but as many fascinating, open, interesting conversations with people about individual experiences, thoughts, opinion, everything, and been so engaged. Even if I don't speak for an hour, I just listen and love every single second and be part of that moment. As I have with you guys recently, it's been amazing. I love it.
Oh, that's cool, man. It's special. It's half the battle is just. I mean, we're not going to go on about it too much, but half the battle is creating the environment, and then once the environment's created, then the personalities and the energy will create the atmosphere, and
Yeah.
then the conversation will go as it goes.
Well, that
Cool.
starts with you, mate. And I take my hat off to you. I've got a lot of respect for you. I've got a lot of time for you. I hope I won't say too much. I hope there's more that we can do in the future in terms of collaborating. I really do. I think there's a lot of things that we share a similar excitement for, and I just can't wait to see what the future holds. And yeah, that's what I will say.
Watch this space, guys.
Watch this space,
Watch this
guys.
space. Anyway, moving on to you because this is all about you tonight. So great, you found this job and you're doing it to present. Sounds like you've just given us a virtual CV. Really,
Yeah.
which is really cool. It's really cool. And I love to do that because it gives us a bit of a background. Obviously, we don't need to go too in depth in people's backgrounds, but it just gives you a bit of a background in the personality of the person that we're watching or finding entertaining. So it's really cool. And thank you for sharing that.
It's okay. I have got one question for you. It's a great term you just used, mate, saying a virtual CV. As someone that, has had more work experience, life experience, and probably a much better judgment of character than me, for what you've seen in your life so far, with what I've said about my history of work and everything, would you hire me? Just if there was, just theoretically, if there was a job based on what you've heard, would you hire me?
No.
I don't blame you. Absolutely not.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because I would never hire anyone that I can't physically look in the eye and ask a question.
Okay, there you go. Well, I mean, turn the recording off and no, it was just a theoretical question, mate.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, yeah, it'd be, I could be really like nice, but I always like to be like practically honest. And I just gave it a solid answer. If I was being really serious, that's no, I wouldn't. I would want to meet you and obviously just see what you're about. See what vibe you give off and see if I can like work with you.
I think actually hearing that as an answer, if I was, this is all theoretical, it was just
Yeah,
for
of
a bit of
course.
fun more than anything,
Yeah, I
mate.
know that. Yeah, yeah.
But actually hearing that as a response, if I was theoretically applying for a job with you or whatever in this other situation we speak about, I think that would give me more reassurance that you're someone I'd want to work for because you're actually really thinking about getting the right person rather than what a lot of companies do now in a place of panic, which is rush to put bums on seats. So that's actually a really good answer, mate, and I appreciate that answer too. And I hope that we can do that in the future. I really do.
Oh, anything's possible, man. Absolutely anything's possible. I've got my feet firmly. Oh no, we're coming off the subject. We're coming off of
Sorry.
you. That's okay. No, I've got my feet pretty firmly on the ground, and I think you get to a certain age, Craven, and in a certain stage in your life where you can afford to do what you need to do. And if that means you're a little bit more, or not you, me, a little bit more particular over how I want to do something, then I'm not afraid to do that anymore. I won't, I've got no need to sort of, because my life's not as rushy as it used to be. So I can afford to go, okay, from all the things that I've learned in my life, what's the best way forward? If I really want to get on with someone, what's the best way to get to know them? Meet them, talk to them, physically
Yeah,
engage with them, find out whether I want to be in their space and equally they want to be in my space, you know?
yeah,
And then if that space works in the physical environment, there's absolutely no reason why it can't work outside of that.
100%, mate. And obviously, we all care to an extent what people think, but just on your point there, your life's not as rushed. I think, you can. Something I've learned, especially if you're on YouTube, you're putting yourself out there, you're trying to do something creative. You're willing to take that opportunity and do that. I respect anyone that puts themselves out there, by the way, but you can. One of the lessons I've learned, you can waste a lot of time caring what people think. Just solely time wasted delaying things, thinking about things because you're anxious or caring what do people think, and it's a real shame. And truthfully, I'd like to think that people think well of me, and I don't offend anyone in my opinions or how I come across. But I have learned to think less about worrying what people think and just trying to be me and true to myself because I think that's important.
Got to be a happy craven. If you're not a happy craven, how can you be happy and creative and go out there and dynamically do the best for you and your family and your partner? You know, it all starts with home, and home is where your heart is, and your heart happens to be in your body. So,
Were
yeah,
you a poet in a previous life?
no, dude, it just makes logical sense, and everyone knows that, but they're scared to talk it half the time.
You come up with some brilliant
Normal stuff.
words, but realistic words. You say it how it is, and I always love to hear what you say and what you come up with, mate. I've said that so many times, but I really do.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anyway, less about that. That will all. I'm
Sorry.
sure as the relationship grows between the two of us, more and more this sort of stuff will come out under different circumstances. No, don't say sorry. Never say sorry because it's cool. So, job's good. Now we're going to move into what we all, most people that will watch this and the people that don't watch this, will now start to get a bit of an understanding of you're called Stacking with Craven. And there's a reason for that. And you're going to tell us how that come about, why it come about, and what give you that little bit of a kick to get into this stacking, investing, precious metals environment. You can go where you want to go with it, dude. I just want to get that early feel of, what was on your
Yeah,
mind? How did you find this? What are you new to YouTube, or is YouTube not a big thing? Have you done this sort of thing before?
that's a really good question, and honestly, it's quite a deep question because I've got so much I could give you in
Wicked.
response to that. So how far do you know? There's a lot that I could explain there in response to that one.
Well, obviously, let's for most people that will watch this want to know, like, will probably want to know, why do we know you as Stacking with Craven, the collecting precious
Stacker.
metals guy, stacker, um, and there's a story with Little John. There's all sorts of stuff in there, but how, how or why did that start? What was it
Okay.
that give you that moment, or can you remember that moment when you
Yeah.
thought, one, I'm going to get into this, and two, perhaps you can let us know whether you were stacking, collecting into precious metals well before your YouTube presence, or was it all at the same time? And how did that sort of develop and come about?
Yeah. So everything sort of materialized into what you see today started at the same point. But to give you a context behind this, the sort of before, the behind the scenes, before Stacking with Craven, the YouTube channel that you see today was created, I I followed a lot of YouTube channels that were based around investment, whether that be stocks and shares, different kind of savings accounts, assets, bonds, you name it. You know that topic better than me, but all of the above, much more. And the reason for that was because I wanted to improve myself. And as I was getting further into my 20s, I thought, well, I want to plant the seeds now for a better financial future. The stuff you see in the media about pensions, which I won't go into, but generally is quite negative. Talk of the retirement age being 74 for people of my age when we get there. All sorts of stuff. And also thinking, do you know what? And I don't mind saying this because I'm just being honest. Not being, I was at a place of not really being happy with where I am financially. I'm rich in many ways in life. I'm rich because I've got a loving family, mainly a healthy family, good people around me. I don't have many close friends, because friendship is trust, and I only trust. There was a quote. I'll just say this quickly. My granddad, who's no longer with us from a few years ago, I looked up to him so much, and he said to me before he died, "If you can count on one hand how many real friends you have," which, by the way, don't be funny about fingers being thumbs and everything else, but if you call it five, if you can count five or anywhere near that of real friends that you can trust, you are a rich and lucky person because it's so hard to find real people that you can go to the depths with. And if you're bad, they'll go there with you and bring you back up, and they won't leave you until you get there. And I'm rich in many ways like that. Okay, but I don't have a massive financial background. I actually have struggled financially for years, and what I'm willing to say about that is, in my earlier years, well, as soon as you start getting your bank accounts, you don't have any credit history, but the banks are offering you overdrafts, you get your first credit card. Long story short, I blew it up the wall. I was young and I just spent money I didn't have because it was on a screen, and they would sell it to you with 0% interest for 12 months or whatever the offer was. And you think, oh, I'll take £1,000 here. That'll buy me a new, whatever it is, a console or a TV or the odd takeaway. And I look back and this disgusts me, but that's what I did. And that left me playing catch up for a long time. And I never really saved anything. And for me, my biggest asset was always my car. I always put so much money into having what I felt was a nice car because it made me happy. I love cars. I like the sporty performance cars. I've always had a pretty fast car, something that I value. Pretty much a waste of money though when you look at it financially, but it made me happy. And anyway, I got to a point where I was like, enough is enough. I need to fix these things. How do I do it? I need to make a change because the same thing keeps happening. My habits, my spendings, my general situation is going to stay the same. It's not going to get any better. And I'm worried about the future. So I was looking on YouTube. There's so many channels and a lot comes up to do with investing. And within all of that, obviously, there's a lot of things about stocks and shares. I did have a trading 212 account. There are other options available, but I did have a trading 212 account, and I believe it was an S&P 500 that I had a go at that. Had some unexpected costs, and I had to sell everything, but that was doing okay, actually. And then I come across precious metals. And when I say come across, I'd seen it before in terms of gold, silver, never really thought let's go into this. Let's find out why. Let's find out what. Let's find out what this is all about. And I'm not sure exactly how to say his second name, but there was a guy who is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think he's called Robert Kawasaki or
it's Robert Kawasaki or
Kawasaki.
something like Kawasaki. Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, Rich Dad
yeah,
Poor Dad fame.
yeah. I read that book, and because that's something that you're recommended to do is to read more. I'm not a reader. One of the things that you're told to do along all these other things is invest in yourself. Great investment, by the way, as I've come to learn, but read more. So I read that. I learned what he had to say about property, about silver. He preaches about silver. Started looking at silver. Come across a channel. I've got to give credit every time because it is the truth. Come across a channel, 365 Days of Silver, and loved his videos. Subscribed to him, and I bought my first Britannia. His videos inspired me to buy my first Britannia. Didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't because I bought it from the Royal Mint at a stupid price. And look, the Royal Mint do some great things. I've got nothing against the Royal Mint, but in terms of price, there are other options available. Do your research. Try and get the best value for money you can. I bought it from the Royal Mint. I paid over the odds, but I was really happy with it. And then I posted a YouTube short, and to do that, I created an account. And the account, I just made up the name, Stacking with Craven. Stacking because of the community that we're in, the category of videos, it's stacking. And Craven because that has that relates to me personally. That is part of me, and that is my name. And I posted a short. It got like 1,000 views, which, by the way, I wasn't expecting. I really wasn't. But I got a comment on that, and it was from 365, and he said to join Stacker Social. Now, bear in mind, I'd watched his videos, but I hadn't actually joined Stacker Social before that point. I joined Stacker Social. I was welcomed to the community, met so many people, was encouraged because of how many other people were in there to make more content. And here we are. But all of this starts from a place, Andy. Has
Yeah.
my has my camera gone off, or have you put
No,
something
mate.
on the
No, no,
screen?
no. I'm just going to put something on. What if I? Sorry, mate. I just cocked up.
It's
What?
okay.
I just want to show the people this, which hopefully you'll see.
Uh, what's
Can you?
this? Oh,
Can
my.
you?
Oh, okay.
Is
It's
that?
my
Was that?
tripod gets in the way of the screen, but it looks
Okay.
like my first short.
That's the so the audience can see. This is what Craven's talking about. His very first short. Is that correct?
Yeah, I unboxed the Britannia, yeah, and I sound really not confident. And
And there's Mr. 365's comment. Love it, mate.
yeah, and I went over to his channel
Yeah, it
again.
just gives gives your story credibility, dude. That's why I like to show it, you know. It's really cool. Really cool.
It's something he does. You know, he's a big channel, and he really does interact with no matter what people's views are. He interacts with everyone. I bought the Britannia because of his videos. He inspired me, and he commented. I joined Stacker Social. I got involved. I got new people, and it made me want to start doing this more. And the encouragement from the community as I grew just motivated me. Yeah, I know I've spoken a lot, but I wanted to give you a background about me, my struggles financially, the reason for looking into all those things, how I landed on it, who was involved, and then yeah, the rest is well, you may have seen some of it, but the rest is history.
Absolutely. So that was really cool. One of my questions that I like to ask people is, what is it that you saw in precious metals that, considering what you'd experienced earlier on, obviously had a dabble with your stocks and shares trading, did all those bits and pieces.
Yeah,
What was it that you saw in obviously silver at the first instant, but precious metals as a rule to go, okay, this makes more sense to me. What can you remember what that is, or what is
yeah,
that? Okay, cool.
because it's it's similar to stocks and shares in the sense that you put your money in, and it's a different kind of asset. It's not digital, but it's an asset that will move with the market. And from what I'd learned, it was better than having money, or at least the money I had, which wasn't much. It sat in a bank account depreciating because by that point, I'd learned enough about money to understand that if I want to improve my situation, just putting 200 quid in a savings account or a separate account every month wasn't going to be the best option.
Yeah,
And also, I've got to be honest, Andy, just appreciation for how beautiful some of the designs are. And a quote that I love to hear is if you can't hold it, you don't own it. And one of the things going back as well, just a 365 on this one quickly. One of the things he did on his videos regularly was he doesn't have everything in capsules and stuff. He doesn't even wear gloves. He just holds everything. It's like eye candy, and you can hear the noise of it. I just love all of that, and you can physically see it grow. And it's not in an account where you can just spend it. It's here in front of me. I've basically got an emotional attachment to some of these pieces, and I'm less willing to let go of them than what I would say. Okay, what's this worth here? A Britannia 2025. We'll just call it 30 something pounds. If I had that or 30 something pound in my account now, that would probably go across the course of the month on a takeaway or something, mate. It would. I'd spend it. Whereas this, I'll just appreciate it every day, sat here staring at me. I'll make a video out of it, and I'll feel good about it because I'll know that I'm keeping this for at least 10, 15 years or whatever I decide to do. But it's better than cash for me. And I just appreciate all the designs.
that makes a ton of sense, dude. And I think as a rule, I hear a very similar story from everyone I talk to. Um, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic to hear, because now I presume you've started a journey where you're found a way of preserving. We won't talk about making money or anything, but preserving your time and energy, which is what I call going out to work and getting money for, preserving it into something that gives you so much more. than just, as you said, the digits in a bank account or the note that sits on the side until it's spent.
Yeah, it's about daily reminders, and you need them because for anyone that's watching or listening, do you ever wake up and think, do you know what? There's a lot of good things going on, but I just don't have the motivation today or anything. If you're stacking silver, regardless what's in your bank or you're waiting for that next paycheck to come in, which I do regularly, but if you can wake up and just have a look what you have achieved, what you have got, that steady progression of these beautiful silver pieces that is growing that you can feel good about, that reminder of something more than money that you are building and looking long term, it makes you feel good. It makes you, it's motivated. It reassures you that you're doing the right thing. And you know what? Even if on those months where, I mean, I've experienced it, I've had less money to spend. I haven't spent a lot recently because I haven't got the money to spend. Um, just getting a few ounces here or there once a week, whatever it is, it really does. If you just be patient, it's amazing how the stack just builds. It really is. And just daily reminders is what I would say. Daily reminders, Andy, and they're so powerful. A reminder of why you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I can relate to it so much because you've just got a physical representation of your value, and that represents your value, yes, your own time and energy, and it's a physical representation of it. And it's very powerful when you start to actually really realize what you're doing and you've actually got control over that, not for a third party. It's even more powerful, even
Yes.
more powerful. Anyway, sorry, that's brilliant. That gives us all a great understanding. So you've realized this, and then you've continued, I presume, your stacking journey. And how did the YouTube? Why YouTube? Why did you want to get into YouTube?
I think I probably, because I spoke a lot before, I didn't touch on this. You did hint at it. Is it something I did before? Stuff like that. Yes, I have done YouTube before. I used to years ago. I mentioned Call of Duty and stuff like that, but I used to play a game called RuneScape. Used to love it. Absolutely love it. And I mean, I was obsessed with it. I'd play it hours every single day and I made videos on it. And the bit of the game that I loved doing was what was called PvP, player versus player. You basically fight each other in your armor. You were risking a lot of value within the game, and it was just so much fun. I'd make videos on that, but I didn't do it for that long. I was doing it for the fun. With this, I'm documenting a journey. Um, and I just generally really enjoy it. With a game, it's not like a long term thing. You know what I mean? It's just totally different. But I have done YouTube before, and I really do enjoy making content. I've got so much to learn. Everything I do is through a phone. I have had PCs and laptops in the past, but yeah, I really do enjoy not just what's on screen, but I enjoy the editing. I enjoy learning how to edit. I enjoy making something that I would enjoy watching myself. And I want to stand by that as I keep making my content, regardless of what the views are at.
It's interesting because you obviously told me this a little while ago, not that long ago actually. I my first time I think I saw you was Walk With Me with Hovis.
Yes.
I think that was the
Yeah.
first time I saw your video. And I sat there and I thought, wow, this guy sounds a youngish guy compared to me. I said, he talks really well. Your voice is no different as we hear it today to those first videos. And I thought, well, this is interesting because I was intrigued because I thought to myself, you've done this before, just purely on how well you presented the video. And so it makes sense. And when I say presented the video, yeah, he was walking Hovis down a country lane talking about stuff.
Good
But
old Hovis. Shout out
yeah,
to
exactly.
Hovis.
Yeah, Hovis is Craven's dog, by the way, if people don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think I commented about the dog on that video. I'm not sure.
You did. I knew you liked that one because
Yeah,
it was one that you mentioned to me. And it's also the kind of content just on you, Andy. I love when you go on your walks, mate. I think walks are healthy for a number of reasons, but in terms of expressing yourself, talking, opening your mind, they're fantastic. They really are. They're more beneficial than just burning a few calories or fitness. It's really healthy for the mental side. I love going on a walk. I really do. And I do plan to do another walk with Hovis in the near future. I've just been waiting to do so because my dog, unfortunately, is a bit older. He's not been so well. We've been advised by the vets to not take him on walks, and that's been for over the last 6 weeks. He really isn't well. So
yeah.
he's getting better. But yeah, I love a good walk.
So sorry, mate. You can probably see I've just sharing your video homepage at the moment,
Yeah, I can see
and
it.
can you see it?
Yeah,
Oh, wicked stuff. And you know what I'm talking about at the moment. I mean, you've been like 2 months. 2 months you've been on YouTube doing this, roughly.
I started
And
in April the 1st.
yeah. April the 1st.
April
Wicked stuff.
Fools.
Wicked stuff. And you've obviously banged out quite a bit of content. But if you look at what I mean by is if you just look at this page, it just oozes of someone that's done it before. And I've got to give you credit, dude. It's well pro. I get a little bit jealous with some of the stuff I look at sometimes. And I think, oh God, I wish I was a bit younger and I could get my head around this technology, but I'm getting there slowly. But I just wanted to just highlight and show people because normally we say like, oh, where can we go? Well, physically, the viewers can see your channel now, so,
Thank
which
you.
is really cool. But you've done brilliant. I mean, you've banged out 98 videos since you started in 2 months, which is an amazing bit of work rate. You've had nearly 65,000 views, which is crazy in that time period. You know, and you've got a nice following. You've got 420 people that have subscribed to your channel, and you mix it up with shorts and longer format videos. And yeah, it's just my opportunity to actually show your channel. So if people want to go there, get over there and have a look.
I
That's
really
what.
appreciate you doing that, mate. And something I will say is I never planned to make actual videos. When I say that, I mean full format videos on the channel. I made shorts because they were fun. They didn't take loads of time. They didn't stress me out. Dead easy to edit on YouTube itself. And I honestly, my intention was for the first few weeks to just do shorts and just once again, my sort of channel, my brand as such is building a stat from scratch. That is what this is about, and being honest about sharing every pickup, every part of it. As someone that's open and honest about the fact they're new, they don't know everything. I will make mistakes, but sharing that journey as I learn with other people because I hope that loads of other people who are younger are getting into this. I hope they can either learn from my mistakes or be encouraged to do a good thing, better themselves. But I got drawn into to doing the full video stuff. You know, I'm really happy because I think you can't. A short is a quick bit of fun. It's a highlight. It's a good moment, but a video allows you to express yourself fully, and I enjoy making them. I really do. But I appreciate what you said about how they look and the improvements because I really mean this. I only have a phone. I don't have a computer. Everything from start to finish has been done using a iPhone. So I hope with the help of a laptop, I can continue to improve how things look, how things sound, all that stuff. But it's not just stacking, it's not just content. Do you, Andy, you've got a brilliant setup, by the way. Do you find there's enjoyment of not only upgrading your stack by maybe buying some gold instead of silver, all that kind of thing, but also improving your equipment? You know, I want to get a microphone, I want to get a laptop. Do you find that part exciting? Improving the general setup, and we talk about backdrops. Just to give you an idea of where I'm at, I don't know if you've noticed this, but behind here, you know, when I send people giveaways and stuff, in black jiffy bags, That is a black jiffy bag against the wall, and so is that. But black looks pretty good, so I'm working with what I've got.
100%. And this is the wonderful thing about the space, really. You can, if you're prepared to be really creative, and yes, we live in a technology world, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with people that just want to take in the message that we're trying to portray across a short or a long format video or a podcast, whatever. And so maybe the how how the presentation from a backdrop point of view can be kept really easy, because 9 times out of 10 it's, for most people in this space, they want to see, what you're talking about, which is a gold piece or a silver piece. And two, the technology really, I'm beginning to appreciate more, should be more into understanding how to attract people from the media space to get to see your content, which is really, in this space of precious metals, really only about the silver and gold. The bit from what you're asking me is, I just so naturally creative and I love everything else outside of that. I get a little bit carried away with more how my backdrop looks after time, but I enjoy that. It's not a big deal to me. And also it's just a little bit more of an alternative to what people can be standardized in receiving when they're watching stuff. So
Yeah.
that's my answer to that, really.
Yeah, and I will say I love your channel name, by the way. Obviously, I know you as Andy, but Creative Precious Metals, I think summarizes the message you're trying to give, what you're trying to achieve. It relates to all of that, and I think it's a really good name. I really do.
Yeah, it's for me. I mean, I'm not going to go too mad, but it's just a great way to express the whole journey. When the whole journey really is about us personally within the space as well. And it's not just about, oh, today I've got one more silver coin, or I've got another one. I've got a ½ ounce one. I've got a ½ ounce. It's sometimes the personal journey as well, and to express that in a creative way too, which keeps people engaged and it keeps it real. I've said a few times lately, I just want to keep the R in real alive, just so that's a little bit more relatable to everyday people out there.
Yeah, and I think creativity really becomes crucial when, realistically, I can't buy. I love to share new pickups, but I can't buy new silver every week, or I don't have. I live month to month. I'm a full-time working guy who just enjoys what he does, so that's why I put so much time into it, and I get great support, and I love engaging with the community. But when you get to a point where you realize, oh, I can't just upload a video every time I unbox something, I need to get creative. That's actually when it becomes more fun, because I said from the start, I will show every pickup I get, but I also don't want everything that I do to be an unboxing video. I want to have fun. And I've got a lot of ideas, Andy, for the future. I really do want to get out and about. And there's a lot of plans I've got that I would like to do, just solely for my own enjoyment, as selfish as that sounds.
Selfish about it, dude. It's important. It's really important. Anyway, we need to get back to you, because there's another little important a little important thing in this very short journey of yours that we know of, from the visual of Stacker McCraven, and that's, you found quite quickly Stacker Social, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, I was literally invited by the man himself, 365. I joined Stackers Social, and I've been part of many communities before, but in a nutshell, Stackers Social is full of great people, very supportive community, very encouraging, people of different stages, stacking, collecting. There's pourers in there, there's traders, there's sellers. Shards are in there, which is amazing. I feel at home within Stacker Social. I feel valued in there, and I feel there's a lot of good people, and it's a pleasure to be part of that every day. And once again, a small part, but it's a pleasure to be a part of it, and I appreciate people welcoming me, accepting me, and supporting me as well. So yeah, I joined Stacker Social, and since that point, time has gone really fast. And I wouldn't be inspired as much at the start when the content started. I wouldn't have done as much as I have without the foundations of Stacker Social. So yeah, I really do appreciate the community. I appreciate the Discord group. I appreciate the founders for what they've created and the people within it who make it what it is. And yeah, glad to be a part of it.
Wonderful stuff. That's really cool. And you missed out something which I will bring up. Not only have you come onto the YouTube scene, you've found Stacker Social, and you've very quickly become almost a podcast host on there. And I found that really fascinating, how that transitioned so quickly. And I thought, oh my God, it's so natural. And I know we speak a little bit outside of all of this. But I just thought, what was behind that? Why, because I listened to you, and it's very obvious that you're very interested in people.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean it in a weird way. Just
No, I
interested
know
in
exactly what
people.
you mean, because
And
I actually think you're the same.
yeah, 100%. And I thought, oh wow, he's had an opportunity, and now what have you had, 8 episodes on there now?
I've actually had 9.
9.
Tomorrow will be my 10th.
All right, okay, cool. So
10 weeks in a row.
that's mad. That's almost as long as you've been on YouTube.
Yeah, literally. It wasn't, it's been 2.5 months tomorrow that I started the Sundays with Craven. The name Sundays with Craven, I will give credit to 365 for. It's something I had thought about and wanted to do. I spoke with 365 about it. He also mentioned this. He gave me some ideas. Oh, maybe you could do a 4-way panel. That was his thinking. And I jumped on it. I did. I don't know what the term is where you say you take the bull by its horns, or you grab the bull by its horns, whatever it is. I wasn't sure if it would work. I had self-doubt. I know being in sales and stuff, one of the things I can confidently say is I love a good conversation. I love a good chat. I also enjoy going to the pub, so that helps. I love learning about new people. I love being part of the excitement. It's such a joy to be able to have that couple of hours every Sunday where we can talk about someone. And I enjoy particularly being the host because I think I'm able to guide a conversation, ask the questions, because I'm actually genuinely interested in the people. And I love listening. We talk a lot about hosting, talking, asking questions, Andy. You'll know this because, I've known you long enough for you to see it. So I know you know. I love listening. I do a lot of talking, but I love listening. I'm a massive listener. I actively listen. And I just love meeting new people, learning about their journey. And yeah, I find it very exciting. I'm so happy I did it when I did, because I don't think there was anything happening on the Sundays really. So it was something where there was an opportunity, and I don't plan on going anywhere. If anything, this is just the beginning. We're coming to the 10th episode tomorrow. I want to grow this. I want to improve the quality. I want more and more guests. I actually am honored that there's now, I'm not really spending much time asking people, because people are messaging me saying, dude, I love you. I love your show. Can I come on? And I'm not saying that to be cocky, just that is what's happening. And it makes me so proud, because a lot of work goes in behind the scenes, but I wouldn't do that unless I was having a lot of fun. Let me tell you, Andy, there is some huge, absolutely huge guests in the future. There actually is. The future dates slotted in the future, but I can't wait to see where it goes.
I can imagine it's another part of that creativity inside us all that it's down to you as an individual, me as an individual, um, to make sure that that space that we are hosts of stays with it and stays creative and stays entertaining and stays interesting. And I think if you can forever hold that buzz from day one within yourself and then just let it develop over a period of time, then it will be it can't not be successful.
Yeah, I think we measure a lot of things in this space by numbers, Andy. And for someone that just started a podcast, on my third or fourth podcast, honestly, across from A to B, start to finish, it's about 2 hours. My average viewer rate at what any one time was about 40. And I thought, you know what? That's pretty good. And it answers the question for me personally that people are enjoying it. I get a lot of good feedback. One thing I will say though is this community is so goddamn generous because I didn't make this to be about giveaways every week, but guests come on and they'll say, "Oh, what's your postage address? I'll send you something so we can give it away on my episode." And I'm like, "You don't need to do that." And they're like, "Oh, I knew you'd say that, but I want to." And this is what I'm talking about with excitement. I get to be part of seeing amazing things given away every week, asking questions, and I love one thing that I particularly love. And I took this. Do you watch the Diary of a CEO from Stephen Bartlett on YouTube? One of the dragons.
I I sometimes I do it depending on who he's got on.
Yeah, me too. To be honest, I don't watch every single one, but they're very interesting. He's a fantastic host, very smart person, and I love what he does. But I took inspiration from that, and what he does, he obviously has his diary, and he takes a question from the guest to ask the next guest. And I thought, that's really cool. I'm going to do that. And that's how I will warm a guest up. Your first question will not be from me, won't be from the chat. It will be from the previous guest. And just as a heads up, I don't know when this will go live, Andy, and it's fine either way. But for tomorrow, which I believe is the 27th, that question from Sandy Millington is snog, marry, avoid between the three founders of Stacker Social. So I'm so glad that I don't have to answer that. Although I already did, but I don't want to go into it. Yeah, your reaction says it all, mate. Honestly. Well, but it's so much fun. It really
Ah, that is
is.
brilliant. That's brilliant. But this is I've always said like community is more, it's just about all the individuals, all the people and having fun as well. Um, so yeah, that's brilliant. Well, I don't hide it with you. I've said to you in you know, in our chats, it's just so natural, and you know, it's quite an honor to have a personal conversation and sort of a relationship with you, where we both inspire each other from each, you know, each and every level. But I love what you're doing, and it will be successful all the time you want it to be, more than anything. So well done, you. I mean, there's in such a short period of time, or it seems like it's such a short, but it is a short period of time that stacking with Craven is known. You know, you're known, and you've brought that on obviously yourself, and you've put in the work, and you know, you've not stood back, and you've got stuck in and made yourself available to people to talk to, and that is obviously just generating this network of information and friendship, and the more you can build that over time, that you'll always want people to be around you and a part of what you're doing. It's cool,
Yeah,
man. It's really cool, man, and it's really exciting.
you've said that so well. Um, I have reiterated this on videos, and Andy, thank you so much for the kind words, mate. I really do appreciate the encouragement from you. I look up to you. I really mean that. I know you'd react like that because that's how you are as a person. But I want you to know I look up to you. I learn from you. I think even though we're at different points in life, I think we actually have a lot of similar traits, and I think that sort of brings us together more. As weird as that sounds, I honestly think it does. I enjoy every conversation with you. And what you said there about I make myself open to people, that's so important because, yeah, I've got 420 subscribers, which is a modest, it's a reasonable amount. But what's nice is, and I said this on that Walk with Hovis video and on podcast, everything, what I love specifically about the Discords and Stack of Social, or wherever it may be, to anyone that watches and thinks, oh, I actually, I'd love a chat. I am open. If you send me a message anytime when I check my phone, I am open and I will speak to anyone. Yeah, I won't divulge too far into that, Andy, but I really mean when I say I am here for people because I enjoy catching up with people. I've got time for people. I'm a listener. And something that shines through with you that I respect massively, and I feel I am the same, is I genuinely care. I really do. So, yeah, anyone that ever wants just a conversation, just drop me a message. That's all I'll say.
Lovely. That's really cool, man. It's really cool. Okay, so we won't get too sloppy over all of this.
Sloppy.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Andy, I've just been delivered another call in, so there we
Oh
go.
man, you are so spoiled and you are so lucky, I tell
Oh,
you.
I know. I said I'm going to be on this. It may be a few hours, me and Andy, when we get talking, it can go on a while. I said, you wouldn't mind bringing me one beer, would you? Well, she's bought me another. I only asked for one. She bought me another one.
Wonderful. So supportive. It's really important. It's really important. And it reminds me of is it Benson's got this bell? And I was just going to say to you, I didn't even hear a bell. So you've got this telepathic thing
Oh,
going on. So
well, let's just take a moment there, just to simply say, Benson is a real standout guy, a friend. And the reason why I mention that is because based on everything we said, we spoke about community, we spoke about all those things, Discord, YouTube interaction, people, network, whatever. Don't like the word network either. Um, Benson is an example of someone that, along many others, on this journey, Andy, I have made friends. Genuinely, the wealth goes beyond picking up precious metals because I'm more wealthy than I was before I started, where I wasn't as happy as a person. I didn't have as many friends. I have so many friends now, and Benson is one of them. And trust me, there is so many more I would name. It's not exclusive to Benson, but he is a great guy. I have a lot of time for. So shout out to him. And as you mentioned, his hilarious bell. I find it absolutely hilarious. And if I pressed the bell, I think I'd probably get a slap.
I would too, dude. Oh, well, I'll just get ignored. I'll just,
Yeah,
and I don't have abuse probably from the other room.
that's it. Andy, sorry, can I ask for a 1 minute break? I need a loo.
Oh, dude, yeah, no worries at all. I'll carry on with that. Brilliant. We've emptied out some water. We've refilled some water. We
You
can
certainly
carry on.
have. This is the orange kind of water.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a real downside of really enjoying a drinking, isn't it? It has to go as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, do you know? I don't drink. I drink on the weekend, and I like to drink having a relaxed conversation because a lot of the conversations I have, I describe the community as a digital campfire that we can all get around and have a good old chinwag, a phrase I like to say and a phrase that I say on my Sunday podcast. And this right now, in the last, I think you said 2 hours, Andy, it doesn't feel like that. It's been a real pleasure. And I love to just have a good beer as if we were just chatting down the pub because that's how it feels. Very relaxed. And yeah, once again, mate, I'm really, really enjoying this.
Oh, wicked. That's not a problem at all. I thought it'd be cool. Right, dude, getting back to you and your channel, I think we've pretty much got up to speed. There's one. dying question that I'd like to put on a video and record it. What is Little John all about?
I thought you'd never ask. No, you did mention it before. So this man here, Little John. So I and I'm not by any means assuming people have seen my videos. So what I will say is there was a particular design of a coin that I liked, and it was this one. How clear is that on the screen?
It's very clear, dude.
That's a Little John. It's part of the Myths and Legends series from the Royal Mint in 2022. Also part of a collection with Robin Hood and Maid Marian. I really like that design. I think it's amazing. And I just thought, Little John, that's just kind of cool. That is honestly where it started. I made a few videos for a bit of humor about my difficulties getting a Little John, being sniped on eBay, that kind of thing. I made a bit of a running joke within the community that I was trying to get one. And yeah, I played on it a bit for humor, but it's not easy to get. The only reason I ended up getting one when I did is because my better half, Miss Stacking with Craven, went and got me one. Bless her. And we did my first girlfriend gifts mystery silver. So I got that. And because Little John had been mentioned at least 5 or 6 times on my channel, it was a thing. It was like a gimmick. A good friend of mine that I was speaking to from the start of my journey, Siolfor Hordian, who deserves a shout out himself. Really, really great gentleman, good person who is also on a similar stacking journey. He's got a family, he's got a young boy, and I speak to him daily. I have so much time for him. He's a great guy. And this figurine here of Little John, that if you follow my channel or if you do check out some of my videos, you will see him regularly because this came from Siolfor Hordian. He's seen my videos and he ordered this for me because he loved the Little John content, and he literally said to me, "Here's this. Do what you want with it. Make some content out of him, whatever." And it's invaluable. I love having so much fun. We talk about creativity, which Andy, you are an ambassador for, my friend. And the truth is, he's like my channel. I don't know what you call it, a gimmick, mini character. He's part of a storyline. Siolfor Hordian has now got the Terminator. We have a bit of a storyline going on there. I see other channels that have started bringing in little characters. And I think it's great that people are doing that. I think it's a bit of fun. I enjoy editing more with Little John being a part of it. And it all started, once again, with my love for the design of that coin from the Myths and Legends series from the Royal Mint. And I'm just, who knows where it will go, but Little John's going nowhere. I absolutely love making content with him there, and seemingly people are enjoying that character. So I hope that explains that to you, mate, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it does. It totally explains it. It's cool because he's definitely he features on your homepage of your YouTube. He obviously features in your background. He's spoken about a lot. You got this thing going on with the Terminator as well, and it's so cool. It really brings an interesting dynamic into what we do, and keeps it entertaining, and keeps it creative. So yeah, I had to ask that question for sure.
I've got a question for you, Andy, before you move on. Who wins in a battle, Little John or the Terminator?
Oh God.
Now, put in mind, everyone's initial answer, I asked this on a podcast, there was a poll for this. Everyone's initial answer was the Terminator. And then slowly but surely, people thought about it as I spoke. And they said, Little John. The majority vote was Little John. You haven't seen what he can do with a staff.
I didn't think it was going to go that way on this podcast, but sorry.
Well, listen, as a guest, I like to add naturally, just the kind of person I am, I'm used to asking questions. So I've been held back as much as I can, but
I'm sure.
It's a very important question. Little John or Terminator? I'm not asking you to pick sides. I'm asking you to pick who would win in a battle.
Yeah. Oh man, I would say it would depend on the battleground. Maybe if it was in Little John's backyard, then you've got to give him the upper hand because he knows the
Yeah, yeah.
area and probably can move around it a little bit more. If there was maybe nowhere to run or hide or bring the environment to your advantage, then maybe the Terminator might have the upper hand because after all, he is
He's
he's
determined.
real.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's a machine. He's
He's a
immortal. He's a beast.
machine. Yeah.
He's a machine. But
So I don't know, dude. Really, it would if there's too many factors to depend on. I'd like to think that the human being would win because we're human, but you've got to give the machine an edge as well, you know?
yeah, the machine naturally has got an edge, but it doesn't mean, the little John can't use his advantages where possible. But it is
Exactly.
a storyline that we will continue, and I can't wait to do so with my good friend CL4. But yeah, fair enough. I think you've given a diplomatic but fair answer there, and I won't push you any further, my friend.
Forever the diplomat.
Of course, that's what you've got to do.
Absolutely. Maybe we should get him on and we
But
could have,
CL4,
yeah, have maybe a maybe a bit more in-depth conversation about it.
yeah,
That's wicked, dude.
definitely.
It's
I,
absolutely
I would
wicked.
love to see CO4 come on here. I really would.
Yeah, definitely over time we'll do that type thing, you know. But anyway, getting on back to you because this is about you. I haven't got a lot more to go through. The crazy question, it's not one I love, but I think the audience like it. Are you a stacker or a collector?
I am both, and I want to build up weight more than I do collect at this point, a couple months in. But I am a sucker for a nice collectible piece. And this beautiful, and I got correct on this, it's not actually St. Oriel's sword. I believe it's actually Raphael's sword, I think. But it's a collectible 2.5 ounce piece, and it's beautiful. And that was gifted to me by Cobra. So shout out to Cobra. What a genuine, generous, great person Cobra is. I'm so thankful for that. But overall, to answer your question, and a good way of putting it is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being collector, 1 being stacker, I'd say at this point, starting the 1st of April to now, the 26th of July, Andy, I am a 4. So I'm just leaning towards stacking now more than collecting because although I want a bit of everything, and I think when you start and you get the buzz for it, you want to get bits of everything. You want the pre-decimal, you want the collectors, you want everything. But honestly, I'm starting to want the collectors less and less because I've got bits I want, and I want just to stack weight. I want to build my weight, regardless if the bullion's in pristine condition. I just want that intrinsic value, and that's why recently I picked up a couple of maples. I've already got a maple, but I picked up 2 more because they were just over £30. Spots at 29, and I'm trying to get good value for my investment. So now that I understand more about a good deal, I want to build more weight. So I'd say I'm more of a stacker, but I do like a collectible piece. I'm a 4 out of 10.
Sorry, I just took a sip of my tea exactly at the wrong time, really. Just as you finish your sentence.
No, mate, you have a good gulp of that tea. You only have
Yeah.
1 sugar, though. I like it with 2.
Oh no, sorry. Probably,
No,
probably.
it's okay, mate. Do you know what it is? It's because you're sweet enough as you are.
Wow, I don't know how to take that really. I know you've had a few beers, but
Do you know what? But do you know why I say that?
yeah, go on.
Because when I know how many sugars my missus has in her tea, but every time I make her one, I always say, "How many sugars do you want?" And she'll say 1, and I'll say, "Oh, you don't need it. You're sweet enough." Well, there we go.
He's such a charmer, dude. Such a charmer.
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot there, mate. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable.
I'll tell you what, you'd be very hard pushed to make me feel uncomfortable. Very hard pushed. Anyway, get back. This is, you can see how me and Craven have got this crazy sense of humor.
We
Getting,
do.
yeah, getting back to, I just want to pick up on you spoke very highly about Cobra, and I will say to you that I'm very good friends with him, and he spoke very highly of you too. really enjoyed your time that he spent with you on your Sundays with Craven episode,
Yeah.
and he said that all the times he actually spoke to you outside of that, then he didn't find anything negative to say at all, because we do say what we think about people in true reality. But yeah, generally he said, "Oh, you'll enjoy that chat with Craven." I said, "Yeah, I know, well, because we talk quite a bit." And so yeah, that's really cool, because he's a very upfront man's man as well. So
He is. He's
really
genuine.
cool,
He's a
man.
real guy and someone I have a
Unbelievable.
lot of time, respect for, and I'm very
Mm,
thankful for because of, once again, Andy. I mean, I've only started in April. For someone who's never met me in person to give me a 2.5 ounce, I mean, this thing's worth, I looked at it, it's worth at least £170 online.
I know, man.
And he gave me that because he said, I just, you're doing these giveaways, you're doing your things for the community. This is mine and everyone else's. Bear in mind, he's the one that's paid for it. Way of saying thank you. And I thought, Cobra, if anything, you're doing me a favor by coming on my podcast at this point. But yeah, just shout out to Cobra. If he does watch this up until this point, thank you again. That's what I'll say. Oh, Andy, I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
I always forget that once. Just see my mouth talking. Maybe people might prefer it if nothing's coming out, but I don't
I
know.
doubt it.
Yeah, yeah, you never know. Got a couple of questions left, mate, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll set it up for maybe a part two at some point. But I've always liked to ask people, although your journey is relatively short within this space, but would you have any positives or negatives from being involved with silver and stacking? And I'm not sure if you've got any gold, but precious metals as a rule. Have you got a positive, negative yet?
Yeah,
Is there anything that stands out to you? Do you think, oh my God, I wish I hadn't
yes.
done that already? Or
Yeah, I think the positive is the learning process and understanding how, to build a strategy that works for you with your budget and long-term goals. For me, it's buy what I can when I can. Don't push myself too far. If I can't, I may have the cash in the bank, but realistically, if I can't afford it, if I'm going to put myself short, it's not worth buying. And that relates to the negative, which, to put shortly, Andy, is don't give in to the FOMO, the fear of missing out, because the Royal Mint release something new every single week, and they do it at 5,000 minties. They're businessmen, they're crafty. Some of them are, valuable investments. I get it. You get there, they sell out quick. They're worth, double that amount once they're sold out. I get it. But you don't have to pick up every piece that you see out of fear of missing out. And that's why now I'm more relaxed. If I see a piece that I like, but I can't afford it or it's not the right time, I'm not as bothered anymore if I miss out. So positive is if you have a good strategy, enjoy the process, let the stat take care of itself along with your timeline. Everyone's is different. Don't compare yourself to others. The negative, mate, is the FOMO, because we all have it where something comes at a time that you can't afford or whatever, or I certainly do personally. Don't fall for it, because that you will see those. It's silver, it's timeless. It will get melted again in 50 years, and it'll be something else new that you'll have FOMO over. So just focus on the metal and work on the right times for you, and watch the stat take care of itself. I started on the 1st of April. I've got over 60 ounces. I'm very proud of myself. I've got a long way to go. I've got a
oh,
lot to learn. I haven't done it all perfectly, but I think the best way to learn is to just start. And I encourage anyone that's considering it, do what I did. It's not financial advice, but if you're going to start, buy yourself a Britannia or something and see where it takes you. If you're at least intrigued in investing in precious metals, in silver, buy yourself a Britannia and go from there. It's not financial advice.
brilliant, brilliant. Final question for you is maybe for you to just be a bit more, sorry, that sounded really disrespectful, just to be a bit imaginative in your answer. And where would you see yourself in 2 years' time within this space? What would you like to be? Have you got any aspirations? Have you got any things that you would like to explore? That's dangerous asking you this, but perhaps you can just
Uh,
tell me in 5 minutes.
oh, Andy, the way you said that, it makes me chuckle. Look, everything that I do, whether it's now or in 2 years' time, I want, above all things, I want to have a positive influence. I really do. If someone watches something of my content, I'm not an expert. I'm not the wealth of knowledge that some people are. I'm a person that learns every day. I'm your everyday guy. If anyone's going to watch my content or join me on anything I do in the future, I just want you to enjoy the time you spend following me. I want it to be a good space. And in 2 years' time, it's really hard to predict. That's a very specific time frame. And on YouTube and other platforms and other ideas, Andy, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You don't know what's coming around the corner, guys. I would like to explore other fields outside precious metals because my journey isn't just about my financial progression, it's also about me, my interests, and I would like to think that I bring out more of my personality and character in an open way so that as my journey progresses, say in 2 years' time, Andy, people look to follow me in what I do more than just the stacking. This is just the beginning, and there's so much more I want to do. And that's very open and vague, but that's how I'd like to leave it.
Great answer, matey. Well, that's, I don't think I've missed anything out. I think that's pretty much gone through a good basic idea of who stacking with Craven is.
Who is
Uh,
he? Who is this guy?
who is this guy talking and drinking beers and having everything delivered to him and talking about figures and fighting with Determinator and love it. And he's got a duck and an alien in his background. That leaves up all sorts of imaginative things there
Do you know what that
to
alien
enjoy.
is?
That's something to do. Is that something to do with nerd?
Yeah, Nerd UK. I'll
Yeah.
just quickly mention the red, what I call tiger stripe designed boxes and coin tubes were created by Nerd UK, who does a great job with his 3D printing. And I get a lot of stuff from him, and he does a fantastic job at a very reasonable price. And he's a gentleman as well. He's a good guy.
He's a really nice guy, actually. Really nice. Most people are. Most people I've met in this space since I've been going are really nice, really nice people. Yeah, we're really privileged to touch into that. That's really cool. That's well answered there, dude. I'm pretty happy to just sort of end that there. Please hang on the line. One last thing. Obviously, I'm just going to share because what I normally do is that horrible thing. Where do people find you? Where can they find you? That horrible question that people get answered. So I'm actually going to share. That's where you can find Craven on YouTube. Let us know. Is there anywhere else that you're actively involved in social media that you'd like to be known for? Or
So, YouTube is the heart of what I do. I have got an Instagram. I've only got 3 posts on there. I'll post the odd thing. It's not something I'm bothered about numbers about. It's more personal. I just share the odd thing. Like I posted a picture of some silver when I was happy with the amount I'd got within a few months. There's a collaboration on there with C4 with the Terminator thing that I'm tagged in. There is a post about the Roman coin that I recently got. It's very specific things. I won't post often, but you can also find me on Instagram, Stacking with Craven. But yeah, that's it really. I don't try and I don't have time to be doing all the social medias, Andy. I just enjoy making the content. Instagram's a personal thing, so it's not about numbers. If anyone wants to follow it, go for it. But I won't be posting every week. It's more personal, behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, YouTube is where you can find me. And if you want to message me, Stacker Social or just Discord in general. If you've got me on there, go for it.
Wicked. Thank you very much indeed, dude. I've really enjoyed this. I knew I would. It's been an absolute pleasure. I I I've met someone that hopefully we can do a part two and we can explore some ideas together. And guys, you're gonna have to watch this space. But for now, I can't thank you enough, mate. In fact, please thank your partner as well, because I know that's important to thank everyone involved, because she's giving up her time that she could have with you. And yeah, it's really appreciated, and I really have enjoyed this. And you know this already, but I'm very much looking forward to exploring a part two or whatever going forward.
Yeah, Andy, a part two has to happen. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you for having me on your channel. Thank you for being the person that you are. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I Yeah, I'm trying not to say too much here, but I look forward to exploring avenues with you in the future in regards to content. And it's a very exciting time, but mainly for this evening, generally, mate. Look, thank you for welcoming me on, asking me the questions. It's probably the most open I've been online since I've joined. So yeah, I definitely would love to do a part two of you. And if you don't mind me saying, when the time is right on my end of things, which happens on a Sunday, if you didn't know, Andy, I want to reverse the seats from this evening and I want to ask you the questions, my friend.
Yeah, 100% do it. I said I'd never forget where we first spoke about it, and I said, "Oh, as long as you come on my podcast," and you've upheld it, so I can't say no now, dude.
You can't say no. You
No, I
can't. No.
can't, and I'll honour that, and it'll be a real privilege. I've never let anybody actually do that, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all I can say. It'd be interesting if it happens or when it happens.
Oh, if it happens, it is happening, mate. We can't say when. Um, as a last thing, I will be looking to grow my YouTube channel and my podcast on that platform. And I hope that when that happens, you will be one of my first guests. That's what I will say.
100%. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah, I'll help you out in wherever you want me to come along. I don't mind. I'm a man of blah, blah, blah. I'm a man of my word, and I will do that for anybody that I say it to. So it'd be
I
really
look
cool.
forward
But
to it, mate.
yeah, dude, thank you very much. Hang on, stay on the line, and God bless everyone. Thank you very much. Take good care. See you soon. Bye.